The Danish spirit is hygge. Hygge is a very Danish word that means coziness or comfort. There's no other word like it in all the world. At least that's what us Danish people say to ourselves. I see hygge when you walk down the street, when you go to the parks, when families are holding hands, and just feeling comfort and safety. You know, that's hygge. The whole Danish society, for me, it's very much to do with the family and the ones who are close to you. Oh, that's my favorite part. I was born in Copenhagen, and you walk through the city and you get lost, you see new places all the time. I still see new places. You'll see things you never thought you saw in your whole life.
I think it's a really great city for the culture, for the history, and I really fell in love with it since I'm a tour guide, because I know more about it.
One of the most unique things about Copenhagen is the distinct architecture that we have. Dannebro is the name of our flag, so we have what's called Dannebro's windows. They look like the Danish flag.
They speak Danish, but the Danes, they actually jump at the opportunity to speak English because there's a lot of foreigners that come to Denmark. It's very international.
We are very close to Sweden. We had a bridge built called Øresundsbroen.
It's half above the water and half under the water, because one of the countries wanted it above and the other wanted it under, so they did a compromise there. And also getting to Germany, fairly easy. We get on the ferry, you can take your car onto the ferry.
We have the main train station of Copenhagen called Hovedbanegården. All trains from there go to all major cities, anywhere in Europe.
I went around basically around the world. And every time I would meet someone and they would ask me, like, oh, where are you from? I'd be like, oh, I'm from Denmark. And they're like, oh, I heard Copenhagen's really beautiful, isn't it? And I was like, oh, now that I think of it, you're right. I had like a newfound love for my city, a newfound interest and curiosity and pride, actually. And that's why I would love to make an impact in such a place that's so close to me.
Our church is located in the center of Copenhagen. You almost can't get it more in the center.
The location of this church is special because we are at Nytorv and Gammeltorv, a very old part of Copenhagen.
We have in this side Gammeltorv, the old square, where it used to be actually the center of the city from the old time. And we have Nytorv, the new square on the other side. We have the city court, and on the other side of it, we have the Church of Scientology Denmark.
Copenhagen is definitely the center for Scientology for many people. The publishing of our founders' works for entire Europe gets done in Copenhagen. We have people here from Italy, from France, from Switzerland, from Russia, from all kinds of nations.
When I have somebody who comes in and they're like, oh, I really have this goal, but I don't know how to achieve it. It's like, okay, good. There's actually a course called How to Achieve Your Goals. And then they're like, great, like within a few hours, I actually have tools to achieve the goals I wanted to achieve.
Everything we want to do in here is from morning till night make people happy, help them become more themselves.
That is like every single week, somebody like that expressing that kind of incredible gain and change in their life makes it very special to work here. One very special thing is our walking street. It's literally right around the corner from our church. It's the largest in Europe.
So we are here standing in the walking street of Copenhagen. It's a 1.1 kilometer, and if you would like to come and shop, this is the place. It's a lot of shops here, trendy shops. You can just find almost everything you like.
Every day is an experience just walking down. I love doing that.
It has artists performing on the street. It's full of life all the time, totally non-stop.
But I think what's special about Copenhagen is the history of it.
We are proud to be descending from the Vikings. They could navigate by the stars in different systems, and they could travel far. So we did incredible conquests and explorations across the entire world.
The Vikings were also salesmen. The city started around 1100, and if you look at the name, Køben means to buy or to sell, and havn means harbor. Marketplace at the harbor, you could say. That's actually what it was in the beginning when it started to form up as a city. Just across the square, there's this old fountain where the Copenhageners many, many years ago got their water. Now it's a fountain, it's there still.
And every single building almost has a story of its own.
Our building was built over 200 years ago. There was a great fire, and a lot of buildings were destroyed. And this building was rebuilt after that fire. When we acquired the building, we took great care to maintain all historical elements of the building.
When you have a building in a place like this, you have to embrace the soul of Copenhagen in your building.
We kept an old wooden staircase. It's hundreds of years old.
It was built in 1885. If you look up, you can actually see that we kept it all the way up to the door that goes out. The building was restored back to how it was originally built, in the way that it was originally done.
At the corner of our building, the building doesn't go at a straight corner, it goes like a flat corner. And part of the reason for that was it had to be very easy for the fire brigade at the time, which was with horse wagons, to get around the corners so that they could put out any other future potential fire.
If you go around in the church, you will see that it has lots of people who have lived here. You can feel it. It's like it lives. It has its own spirit. One of the residents who lived here, my personal favorite, was Adam Oehlenschlæger. He's a Danish poet, and he was the one who wrote the Danish anthem, actually.
I lived in Copenhagen all through my life. We have our history, so it's fantastic to see that you preserve these items, these things that you can preserve, and keep this as a part of the building's history. I like that. And you did it as well with the facade, because you kept the facade as the original building in one of the most important places in Copenhagen.
It is so important to us to have our church here, in the heart of the city. It was put here by our incredible Scientology community, and was put here to help. For me, what really matters is to change conditions for the better. Scientology gives me the technology to improve the lives of people. And then they further improve, and it spreads like rings in the water.
There are words to describe every step we take, every moment, every memory, every landmark, milestone. Words for the joy and the sorrow, the victories and the triumphs. the defeat that pushes us into the shadows, and the inspiration that brings us back. But through all of life's journey, there is no language adequate to describe the ultimate heights you can attain, your full potential.
Scientology Network presents L. Ron Hubbard in his own voice, an exclusive 3-part documentary series. He captivated an audience with his extraordinary knowledge of the mind and changed the lives of millions worldwide. Now, for the first time in this unforgettable series, hear the stories from the man that founded the world's youngest major religion. Don't miss L. Ron Hubbard in his own voice.
When I get home to Copenhagen, I'm always like, I'm home. You can take a deep breath and feel the Scandinavian cold into your lungs, right?
This is the city of bicycles. If there is ever a city to be enjoyed on a bike, this is the city.
There's 5 times more bikes than cars in Copenhagen.
There's no reason to drive into town because you can't find a parking spot anyways.
That's how I get around. I never actually got my driver's license because it just wasn't necessary.
If you take a bike once and go certain places, you would be surprised.
Our church is close to Tivoli, my favorite place.
We are here in front of Tivoli, the second oldest amusement park in the world. Tivoli actually was an inspiration for Walt Disney. He came to visit here and he got inspired by it, and thanks to it he actually created Disneyland.
It's like a wonderland in the middle of a town, you know? You have all these people screaming, having fun.
They have one of the oldest roller coasters in the world in there, where you still have the driver on the roller coaster who's pulling the brake when you drive down so it doesn't go too fast.
I once managed to take 12 rides after each other in the roller coaster.
As a tour guide, it's really cool because I'm making actually new friends. People come here and they're already fascinating about the city and they want to know about it. In 3 hours, you can actually see a lot. I came here 12 years ago. It was difficult in the beginning. I had some problems with communication and I was looking for something, technology that can help me. Scientology helped me in my life in every aspect, and I just don't know how could I live without it. My first course was how to improve relations with others, and it really made a big impact on me. I love to work with people, and I love to see they are doing well in life. As a tour guide, I'm very much interested in them, and I really become their friend, and I become more me, since I'm a Scientologist.
Danish summers are the best. Because in the winter, sun goes down at 4 o'clock, the days are shorter, but in the summertime, the sun doesn't go down until 10 p.m.
Everyone's like summer, let's get out there and experience this amazing short period of awesome weather.
We have these waterways and you can get around and you can get almost to any part of the city through the river.
As a fisherman, I love Copenhagen because of the connection with the sea. You can sail on it, you can fish. We have different old spots in Copenhagen which are very nice to see. The Little Mermaid just along the waterline. I can say that 500 meters to the left is very good fishing there.
Tourists are always seeing The Little Mermaid. It's based on a fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen the most famous Danish poet.
He's well known for his adventures, stories for kids and so on. And as a knife maker, I was on a competition for the purpose of telling one story about Hans Christian Andersen and put it into a knife. I picked the ugly duckling, and then I made a knife, and in the sheet it's ugly duckling, and when it comes out it is the swan. Knife makers were totally shocked. They have never seen something like that. I had in my life some problems myself with communication. I went into the Scientology church. I didn't know anything about it. And then I came on a communication course. I was totally surprised about how simple it was. That was where I really found out there was a technology. I noticed a lot of change in my life. That was really the start.
This city is known for having a lot of very, very renowned and famous restaurants. The most famous one is Noma, world's most famous restaurant, or best restaurant, several years. But in addition, we have lots of incredible nice places to eat. We have something called smørbrød, a Danish dish. It's on a black rye bread, and then you put different things on top. You can put herring. There's like over 30 variations of different kinds of smørbrød. We are a dairy-loving nation. There's literally countless of amazing cheeses. In Denmark, everybody grows up with licorice, one of the most favorite candies. It has a special taste. Some foreigners think it's too salty, but you have to have good licorice to be a true Dane.
We have the sweetest cafe owners right around our church. It's like an experience to just walk down the streets.
We are the longest line of existing monarchies in Europe. We have an incredible queen, and she's been on the crown for a very long time. And her palace is right in the middle of Copenhagen.
We have kings and queens that have done different things over the years, and there was a specific King Christian IV who, during his time, managed to build a lot of castles.
He was an incredible king. And if I should say there's somebody we should look up to and thank for this amazing city, it's King Christian IV. Just saying, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of King Christian IV. If you go to Rosenborg, you can see the crown jewelry. Gorgeous. For a bling bling girl like me, it's like heaven. And then there is Kronborg. Hamlet, written by Shakespeare, actually takes place in Kronborg. So if you go there, it's also amazing.
In Kronborg, we have a person sitting called Holger Danske. And the day somebody will really threaten Denmark, he will wake up and protect Denmark. When you are there, you have this feeling of history because you can feel that the kings were here, and it's like part of the soul of Denmark. That's part of being who we are.
We're all looking for it. Some of us have been looking our whole lives. Some think they can buy it. Some think they can wear it. Some travel the world in search of it. Most don't even know what they're looking for. But we all feel it. That aching desire. That unexplainable emptiness that can only be filled by one thing. The truth. Scientology. Know yourself. Know life.
There's a soul to the city that lives on. And it is one of getting along, taking care of each other. You have to love diversity to be in Copenhagen because it's so diverse.
The people of Copenhagen are very friendly, and mostly, I think, they have big hearts.
Denmark has for a long time been a very tolerant country. In World War II, we actually took care of people who were fleeing from different places. Jews, they had a sanctuary in Sweden and in Denmark. There's this caring for people, and you can really feel that. I mean, that's a spirit of kindness and help.
The church is involved in many different social campaigns, and one is the Human Rights Campaign. Its dedication to the creation of a better and saner world in the name of human rights has been.
And these things which you saw, most of the work I do, it is with people, with human rights, with anti-discrimination, working with interfaith relations. So that is my life. I came to know Scientology in a very amazingly beautiful way. I visited the church and I learned what Scientology stands for. And since that time, it has gone over 20 years that I have been working with the church. When a movement or a religion works with human rights, that is my heart in that. The most important thing Scientology offers is helping with problems which people face day to day.
We've done these Youth for Human Rights marches in the city every year. We have a whole Say No to Drugs, Say Yes to Life campaign that we do across the city to raise awareness in the youth so that they don't get into drug abuse.
We want people to do as well as they can. And with what we do in the church, we seek to live up to that and put that out into the community.
I found it very inspiring to be a Scientologist in this city, and also it fits with the city. It does. We have such a rich culture, a rich history, and Scientology makes you enjoy that even more.
Copenhagen is the city that's closest to my heart because I grew up here. And what's really rewarding about working here is what I got to give people.
If everybody's doing good around you, you will feel bigger and you will just feel more at peace with yourself. And I really feel like this is the place I can make that happen. We make it happen every single day. Everybody who works here, I mean, we love our city. We very much think in the ways of that everything should continue for our future generations and make an even better society for Denmark and Copenhagen.
Take a trip around the world without a passport and explore Scientology from a whole new angle.
The first impression most people get when they come is the warmth that comes with it.
It's powerful, it's passionate, energetic.
There's nothing like this place.
Don't miss Destination Scientology on Scientology Network. There are over 11,000 Scientology churches, missions, and groups in more than 160 nations. If you're curious about Scientology, go to Scientology.org. Or to find a Church of Scientology near you, visit Scientology.org/locator. And come find out for yourself.
This is an invitation to freedom.
It has not come with the blares of trumpets or the flare and flash of flame. It's come quietly, and you aren't at all sure you should believe it.
You are a spirit. You are your own soul. You are not mortal.
You can be free.
You have been invited.
There are 3 factors in Scientology which are of the utmost importance in handling life. These 3 factors help you find answers to getting along with others and improving relationships. Discovering how you can explain your ideas to people and how you can handle work better. We call these 3 factors in Scientology the ARC triangle. ARC is a word made from the initial letters of affinity, reality, and communication. By affinity, we mean emotional response. We mean the feeling of affection or lack of it. By reality, we mean the solid objects, the real things of life, the things that we agree are real. By communication, we mean an interchange of ideas between people. These 3 terms are interdependent one upon the other, and when one drops, the other 2 drop also. You can probably remember a time when a person pushed you away when you felt affectionate. What was your immediate reaction to them? Were you in agreement with what they did? Did you feel like communicating more or less? A lowering of one of these 3 points brings the other 2 down as well. Reversely, when one rises, the other 2 rise also. It is only necessary to raise one corner of this triangle to raise the other 2. Affinity and reality exist to further communication, and altogether, these form understanding. This triangle is the keystone of living associations. It is the common denominator of all life activities. Its use means a greater understanding of life itself.